Hey guys, so welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to talk about JavaScript variables. So what are JavaScript variables, how to declare one of them, and how to use them. So a variable is a container used to store data or information in a program. So imagine you have some data and you need to store it. So similar way we have containers, maybe in the kitchen you have a container to store something. That's the same way you need a container to hold some of the information that will be used later by your program. So in JavaScript, we have special keywords used to declare variables. So think of it that you want to store something. The first thing you need is the name. You need to have the name, and then you need a way to declare or to say that you want to create a variable. So that way of creating, it has a special syntax and you use a special keyword. So we have three of them. We have the let, we have the const. So the let, const is for the keyword, constant, keyword constant, and var is also a keyword used to declare variables, but this is another way. Since to 2015, it was declared as somehow obsolete, and we commonly use these two. So the let and the const, because the var keyword behaves differently in some situations. So let me open my VS Code. So you can open your VS Code in any of the folders you might like. And to start off, we have said a variable is a container to hold some information. So think of it as a container. So before starting, the first thing you need to understand is you need to say you want to create a container. So the first thing is to create a container. So we have said we have three keywords. We have the let, const, and var. But you're not going to focus on the var keyword because this one is outdated. So to declare a variable, this is the syntax. So if you go back to the blog post, the syntax is the keyword, variable name, and the value. So keyword, variable name, and then you assign it a value. What do you want to store? So let's create a variable called name that is going to hold my name. So going to use let, but there is a new saying that is use const unless you want to redeclare the variable or change the variable. So because here are the properties of each. So the let keyword is used to declare variables that can be changed. This means I can create a variable called tech name or my name. Then I say TechWithTwin. And then later on, I can change my name to John. So if I come here in console.log name, my name. So let's see. Then I run node index.js. You can see my name has been changed to John. And if I remove this, you can see my name is TechWithTwin. So by using the let keyword, you can redeclare you cannot redeclare, you can change the value as I have shown you. So that's it. For the const keyword, you cannot change the name. So const my name is equals to TechWithTwin. I cannot come and change my name to John Doe. So this is not allowed. So if I come here in console log my name and we run this, we get an error. Assignment, you get a type error which says assignment to constant variable cannot be reassigned. So you cannot not reassign, you cannot change the value of the constant. So something we have learned is that we use the let keyword whenever we want the value to be changed. So in case this is a changing value, and then we use a const keyword whenever we want not to change, and mostly it is used for constants. It may be a pi is equals to 3.14. That's a variable. All right, so you might have seen that I have used an uppercase for the pi. So in some common scenarios you can use the uppercase for some of the constants, but this is not a must. This is just by convention, because some of the constants you can't. So let's say if I have a constant, my name, the reason I would do this is because maybe I don't want to change this name, but I don't want to capitalize this, because essentially it's not like a constant. Okay, so we have seen the syntax, and then in the syntax we start with the special keyword for declaring variables. So as I have said, is that we have these special keywords. So I can say let age equals to 30. So these are special keywords. We have let, const, and var. So these keywords essentially are used to name our containers. And then we have this equal sign, a single equal sign, which is used as an assignment operator. And an assignment operator is used to assign a value. So when creating variables, you can assign any value, but the value has to be a data type. So value has to be a data type of the language. So in JavaScript we have several data types. Let me show you the data types. So we have numbers, we have strings, we have null, not a number, objects, and boolean. So a variable is used to hold only the data types that are available. So you can't now store, I can say that let first name is equals to, I can't do like that because this is not a data type in JavaScript, but I could if I turned it into one of the data types, maybe a string, that's a string, maybe a boolean, maybe that one. Yeah, so I hope you understood that. You have to assign it a value. Like, think of these containers have to store values that are related to JavaScript, which are JavaScript data types. Okay, something else we can do is that, so my name, you can create a variable. Oh, let's start with that. So you can create a variable that is not initialized. By initialized means it has not been assigned anything. Okay, so you can create a variable that you don't give it a name, and then later on you can change the name to something else. So TechWithTwin. Okay, so you can, whenever you have initialized a value without an we have initialized a variable without a name or without a value, it becomes undefined. Okay, so if we console log the type, we have a function called typeof, which gives us the type of a value or variable. So type of my name, and I think that's not right. Oh, it's undefined. So if you don't initialize, if you don't give a variable a value, it becomes undefined. Okay, and you can't use constant because constants has to be, you can see declarations must be initialized, so you have to initialize the constant. But for the let is not a must because it will allow you to change it later on. But for the constant, if you don't initialize it, there is no way of changing the value. So essentially that doesn't make sense. So another thing you need to understand is we have rules for naming variables. So you saw how I was naming my variables, like let my name is equals to, so this is a descriptive name. So you have to use descriptive names when naming your variables. So we can say let age equals maybe 30. So let first name equals tech. So you have to use descriptive names instead of using names like let x is equals to Kenya. So X now is a country. You have to be descriptive because other developers might work on the same program that you are working on. And also for your case, in case you are debugging, it will be easier for you to debug. So you have rules for variable namings. So the name can contain letters, digits, underscores, and dollar signs. And the name must begin with a letter. Names can also begin with a dollar sign or an underscore. This is not commonly used in JavaScript. Names are case sensitive, so if I say let age equals 30, let age equals 40, these are two different variables because variables are case sensitive. And then reserved keywords in JavaScript cannot be used as names. So what are reserved keywords? You cannot say let equals 40. This is a reserved keyword. Okay. Reserved keywords, maybe I can say let function. This is a reserved keyword. This is a keyword that is already being used by the JavaScript. So you need to use names that are not there. So in JavaScript, use camelCase notation convention. So this is commonly used. So camelCase says that the first letter is in lowercase, but the rest of the letters are uppercase. So let first name is equals to tech. And say tech. So the first letter is lowercase, but the other letters are uppercase. So that's camelCase. And then we have snake case. This one is commonly used in Python, whereby now you can say first underscore name. That's the snake case. But in JavaScript, we commonly use the camelCase notation. So you can also use constants as uppercase. And then variables can also be initialized without a value. I showed you that. And then we have this operator called the assignment operator, which assigns a value to a variable. I did show you that. And then variables can only hold the data types as the values, nothing else. And when to use the constants, use const by default. It prevents accidental changes. Use let when you know the value will change, and avoid var. It is outdated and it's confusing for beginners. So instead of, you also have a trick here. So if I have three variables, so age equals 40, let first name equals tech, let last name equals twin. So instead of doing that, you can declare all of them at once using a comma. You separate them using a comma. Yeah, like that. That's the same thing. And then finally, we have few examples of how to use variables. And then that's it, guys. That's it on JavaScript variables. Happy coding and make sure you practice. See you next.